I'm writing on my screen, so normally I write on a slate, and it's far easier than this. This could be horrendous, but we'll have a go. Nth term. Let's get a pen. In fact, I have to do it with my fingers, which is even worse. So this is going up in sevens. So it'll be 7n. Doesn't like the pen. That's okay. 7n. Right, and then we go backwards a number. Okay, so because we're going up in sevens, the number down here would be -3, and that goes at the end there. Okay, next one. It's going to be slow without the slate, but hey ho. This one's going up in threes, so it'll be 3n. And the number here would be 1. Okay, so it's 3n plus 1. That's nth term, right? Write down the first 3 terms of this one. Okay, so the first term here, we're going to swap n for a 1. So we're going to do 4 times 1 plus 11, which is 15. Okay, for the second term, we're going to do 4 times 2 plus 11, which is, dear me, can't even, 19. Just about that. And then 4 times 3 plus 11, which would be 23. So there's 15, 19, and 23 collecting like terms. Let's get my, yep, there we go. Okay, collecting is just bringing things together. So like collecting animals in a zoo, okay? So here, I've got 7 x's and I'm adding on 9 x's. So there's 16 of those. And then I've got 2 y's and I'm adding 3 y's. So at the end, there'll be 5 y's. Again, apologies about the writing. In the next one, we've got 10 a's and we're adding 5 on. So there's 15 of those. But then the tricky bit, we haven't got 2 b's. We're starting this on -2 on our number line. So we're adding 11 onto -2. Okay, -2 plus 11. Or think of it the other way around. 11 minus 2, same answer, would be 9b. Even harder again. I've got 4 a's and I'm taking 1 away. So there's 3a. I've got -3b, so I'm starting the number line on -3b. And this time I'm not going up the number line. I'm going down 5 from -3. So I go down to -8b. And then finally, I've got 3 of this type of animal and I'm adding 8. So there's 11 of these. The little number doesn't change. There's just more of them. There's 11p squareds now. And then I've got 4p's and add on, take away 9. So I'll end up with -5. Again, apologies about the writing. We'll do our best. Let's get the thing. Here we go. Right. Question 12. Factorize means put into brackets, right? So what goes into these things? So 24 and 16 are my numbers here. Both in the 2 times table, both in the 4 times table, both in the 8 times table. Got to try and find the biggest one. So they're both in the 8. That's the biggest times table that they're both in, right? And then we're dividing them by 8. So 8 goes into 24 3 times, but it's 3x, minus, and 8 goes into 16 twice. This one, I'll be taking 5 out. They're both in the 5 times table. However, because they are x squareds and they are x's, I can actually take an x out as well, out of both things. So if I divide 15 by 5, I get 3. And if I divide x squared by x, I just get x. And then if I divide 25 by 5, I get 5. But I don't need an x on that one because I've taken that outside. So that is the factorizing, putting things into brackets, compared to expand, which is getting things out of brackets. So multiplying both these things by 6. 6 times 3y. And then 6 times 2, right? And this time I'm multiplying both these things by 2a. So 2 times 5 is 10, and a times a is a squared. That's the first bit of times in. So square that. Put the minus, which is in the center there. 2 times 7 is 14, and a times b, well, it can't really be done. So we just have to write ab. Said the right instrument, dreadful, didn't I? There we go. On to expanding double brackets. Okay. When we did this, guys, I think what we've got to do is times both the things in the second bracket by both the things in the first. So we might have done like a smiley face. So I normally teach it. So let's start by doing the first thing in that bracket times the first thing in that bracket, which is x times x, which is x squared. Then let's do the nose. The second thing in that bracket times the first thing in that bracket. 3 times x is 3x. Writing's gone horrendous. Then let's do the mouth, which is the first thing in that bracket times the second thing in that bracket, which is 5 times x, which is 5x. And finally, the other sort of eyebrow, which is 3 times 5, which is 15. Okay, that's the expand bit. And then the simplify bit, well, is just adding the x's together in the center. So if I've got 3x's plus 5x's, in my final answer, when I add those together, I get 8x. And then the other thing that I've got here that I can't do anything with is that number 15. And then in the second one, a bit harder, we've got 2x times x, which is 2x squared. The nose is 3 times x, which is 3x. The mouth is 2x times 4, which is 8x. However, it's 2x times minus 4, so that's going to be negative. And the last one is 3 times 4, which is 12. But again, it's plus 3 times minus 4, so that one again is going to be minus. And then when I simplify this one, I've got 3x's take away 8x's, which goes down to minus 5x. And the number on the end, again, I can't do much with. So that's called expanding double brackets, something that we did. Chaps, I'm going to leave 15. I'm going to do it in our lesson just before. Okay, it's the one thing I'm just going to cover in lesson. 16, using a formula, use the formula t equals 7 times v, 7 lots of v plus w to find the value of t when v is 6. So 7 v's would be 7 6's. And then I'm adding on w, so I'm adding on, but w is a minus. So because I'm just adding on a minus, I'm just going to take that away. So 7 times v, or 7 times 6 is 42. And then take away 3, which is what w is, and it gives me the answer 39. Or the alternative here is where they give you the answer. T is 40, and 40 is equal to 7 times v plus w, but I'm told what w is. It's 19. Now, this one, guys, we're going to have to use our heads a little bit more. So basically, what would add on to 19 to make 40? Or if you're thinking of this like Magic Bridge, take the 19 away from 40 and you get 21 equals 7v. So that must be 21. But I want to know what v is. 7 times what makes 21? So v needs to be 3 to make that work. And then something we did last lesson, which is 10 marks, a lot of marks. So I'm going to scoot through, which is Magic Bridge stuff, which is solve Magic Bridge. In this case, the plus 6 moves over first and takes away from there to give 15. And then that 3, which is attached to the x, will become a divide by 3. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. Same here, get rid of that loose number first, get that plus 5 over there and take it away. So my new answer is 2. 7 take away 5 is 2. This time, though, this is divide by 4. And the opposite of dividing by 4 is to times by 4. So 2 times 4 gives me the final answer, 8. This one, we've got to expand the bracket first. We've done expanding brackets in this video, so we're timesing them both by 2. So 2 times that, take away 2 times that, and the answer is still 12. So we've times both those things by 2. And then we're back, like part A, take the loose number. But what's the opposite of minus 10? It's going to be add 10 on. So 4x equals 22. So x equals 22 divided by 4. And that's a bad example from me. Why? Yeah, because 4 doesn't go into 22, okay? If you had a calculator and check that, which, all right, you haven't, so they'll be nicer than this, it would come out as being 5.5. I don't want you to worry too much about that, though, because that isn't going to happen. All right, and then the last one, think of these as friends, okay? Again, we always start this getting rid of this loose number, isn't it? And what if it's minus 23 there, it'll be add 23 over there. The only difference this time is if you've got letters on the right-hand side, they need to come to the left-hand side. And you'll only get one of these. You'll get one of these where there's letters on the wrong side and they come over. And what happens is you take the 2a away from this side. And in this case, you add the 23 onto that side. So it's like they've swapped sides, right? Take 2a away from 4a, you get 2a. Add 23 onto 7, you get 30. And all of these things end with a divide. And in this case, the divide will be 30 divided by 2. So A will be 15. Right, that's the algebra stuff to go with the other video. Between it all, hopefully that'll cover everything. I will do the question I did in class with you.